Hello, Ben here. Welcome to the home front. It's a little bit cold where I'm at. I think if you look, you can see we still have some snow on the roof. But anyway, I bought a bunch of stuff on Facebook Marketplace. Let's take a look and see everything I got. Well, if you've never tried Facebook Marketplace, you're not alone. I didn't until about 2 years ago, but I have gotten to the point where I am pretty invested into Facebook Marketplace when I need something. And I do it for a couple reasons. Well, the first reason to do it is to make your dollar go farther. You can find some good deals and save some money. The second reason is all this stuff might have gone into the trash or someplace else, and right now I feel like I'm an environmentalist. I'm saving something from just going into the landfill, and it's getting used for a second life. And if you're wondering what all I purchased, I got 2 table and chair sets, a lawnmower, and a flammable locker cabinet. But I'll get this all unloaded and I'll show you what we got. So while I'm unloading all this stuff, I'll tell you how I got started on Facebook Marketplace. I've got a friend on Facebook and they were advertising a yard sale. And then I noticed when I looked at their page, they had a bunch of other stuff that they had for sale. And long story short, I found Facebook Marketplace, and it's just like eBay, except in some ways it's easier to deal with. And once you start going to Facebook Marketplace and scrolling through all the pages, you'll see that somebody's got something for sale everywhere. And before you know it, you'll find something you think you need to. I've got a tip for you. It's in the back of my truck. I wanted to show you guys something that might help you out. Harbor Freight sells these moving mats for like $8. You can find them on sale for like $5. But they are really handy to have, and you'll probably ought to have a couple if you're going to be moving stuff around, especially if you're by yourself and heavy. And the reason why I say that is because they make the job so much easier. I used it when I put it in the back of the truck, and watch how easy it is to take it out. Now this flammable storage cabinet is surprisingly heavy for as small as it is. And it takes a lot of work to move it around. But it slides right across that moving blanket, no problem, and it's going to protect the finish of whatever it is you're trying to move around. And there you have it. I didn't put any new scratches on it. And the bed of my truck looks pretty good too. Well, they're called moving mats, and you could probably find them anywhere, but Harbor Freight has them on sale most of the time. Well, I also use a dolly and cardboard to move things around a lot too. I have found the cardboard works a lot better than any kind of fabric because it doesn't get caught up in the wheels. And as far as those wheels go, this dolly came with really cheap inflatable tires that never would hold air. I almost threw the dolly away. But I had a fertilizer spreader that was all rusted up because the fertilizer rusts the metal, and it had solid wheels. So when I threw that fertilizer spreader away, I took the solid wheels and put them on this dolly, and it's been working perfect ever since. I've never had to air them up once. Well, everything is unloaded. Let me show you why I got what I got. Well, it all started with this. This is a small rechargeable light that I use when I'm working on the cars. It's got a magnet on the back. You can stick it up underneath the hood or on the muffler, wherever you need the light to shine. And like I said, it's rechargeable. But it ended up catching fire when I was charging it. And I wasn't anywhere near. I came out to the carport where the charging station is and was smelling something and didn't know what it was. And it was 2 or 3 days later before I found out. Well, it's sitting right here, and I'm really surprised that it didn't catch the shelf above it on fire because they're made out of wood. And you can see some of the soot. So I realized the charging station, along with a lot of my batteries, might be a fire hazard. Well, I've got the leaf blower and 2 electric bikes in the garage, and I don't want the garage catching on fire. And like I said, behind me is the carport, and I don't want that catching on fire. So what do? Well, you put everything in a flammable storage locker. And you can see the door is double walled. Well, that will keep a fire in place and keep it from spreading. So that's what had me going to Facebook Marketplace to start. Well, I knew from my military days that those kind of lockers are extremely expensive. And this one is actually designed to fit underneath the countertop. You can see at the very bottom, it's got that little indent. If you were to order that new, it's $832. And I got it for $180. So that is really a lot of money saved. Next, I've got this wrought iron round table and chairs. And I've been looking for about 2 years for these chairs, because I've got some that are rusting real bad along the bottom, which they always do over time. And they're getting to the point where they're starting to snag on my clothes. And you can only sand and paint them so many times. But one of those chairs, which I have not been able to find for about a year and a half, at least locally, it's about 200 bucks, especially the ones that rock. So I picked this table and chairs up for $200, and it probably goes anywhere from $500 on the low end to $1,000 on the high end. And the only thing this table and chairs needs to be perfect, because it's got a good paint job, there's no rust, is there should be little plastic caps that go on the very bottom to protect wherever you're moving it. Because right now when you move it, you can hear it. Hear that scraping sound? They make these little discs that you can put on there. And I ordered some from Amazon.com, and it was only $5 for all the chairs. So this table and chairs ended up setting me back $300. And you can see it's got 2 chairs that swivel. And it's got 4 regular ones. And I know it's a really quality set because how light it is. Hopefully you can see this. I can easily pick this table and chair off the ground with just one finger with one pinky. It is really light. Now it's also going to need those plastic tabs that'll go underneath the chair legs, and I'm going to have to sand and paint it. But I think once I got that done, I should have a light new table. And if I were to buy a new table and chairs, instead of paying $300, I probably would have spent anywhere from $1,300 to $3,300. $3,300. And last but not least, I've got another lawnmower. I paid $300 for this gem, and it needs a little work, but nothing that I can't do. Somebody's replaced the seat, but they didn't do a very good job. No problem there. It needs 2 new front tires. The deck needs to be leveled, and it's got the classic problem that the mowers have. The front wheels are really out of alignment. But I've got 2 pieces on the way, but the ones I got are adjustable, so I can adjust the length. So at lack of better words, I can do a true wheel alignment. Also, it looks like he put new wheels on it, but he didn't use the right bolt. And over time, it has completely wore through that. So I'll put some new wheels on the deck and fix that. The last thing is it needs a bushing in the steering column. And it even came with a bagger. Now, if you were to try to find a 21 horsepower mower, you're probably going to spend close to $3,000. And that was $300. So I purchased all this for $980. And if I were to buy it brand new and buy the cheapest thing I could find, I would have had to spend about $4,300. And if I were to buy brand new and buy the best I could find, I probably would have spent about $7,300, $7,300. So I really saved a lot of money. And I also saved a lot of things from going into the landfill. But there's one other thing that I probably should mention. It wasn't necessarily easy. I spent quite a few nights looking at stuff on Facebook Marketplace, chatting back and forth, sending messages, and then lining everything up so I could pick all this stuff up in one day. And none of it was close to where I live. I drove close to 600 miles and put 50 gallons of gas in my truck, driving to Orlando and Tallahassee to get all this stuff. But on the bright side, I only spent one day, and even if you add in the gas at $3 a gallon, that's still only another $150. Definitely worth it. I can't think how many hours I would have had to work at a job to make another $6,000 after taxes in my pocket to go purchase all these items. And then on top of that, pay the taxes for that. Now there's other drawbacks with Facebook Marketplace. There's people that scam and try to con you. And I can't attest to that because I've been fairly lucky so far. But I probably only made about 8 purchases off of Facebook Marketplace. Well, there you go. That's how I like to roll and save some money. And that's where some of these projects I'm always doing come from. Getting something and fixing it up. Well, thanks for watching. Be careful about Facebook Marketplace. There are people that will try to scam you. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in that next video.